On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Kash Patel makes a huge threat. Huge in my opinion. Giant threat. I think that's what the game is right now. Try to get the press to, give them as much rope as possible to let them, do what they do with it. And then, truth is going to get dripped out. We've certainly got networks like Fox or Newsmax that will promote stuff when you talk about mainstream media. And you've also got a lot of the media like me and others similar that will definitely be talking about it. We are changing the landscape, and we certainly are changing the way media is moved about. We talk about things now. We've got platforms where we can very quickly and easily talk about things and get opinions about it. Deep State's not used to that. They're used to controlling it. Of course, they used to control Twitter. Thank goodness that doesn't exist, at least the control factor. So, again, a lot going on. New Jersey gets a 3.0 magnitude earthquake. Probably freaked some people out. People in New York felt it. In my humble opinion, that is not a very big earthquake at all, even for places that don't have them. But if you feel a building shake, like I said, I was I don't know if a lot of you guys probably know this already, but you go up to the Empire State Building, right? And we're at the very top. It was pretty cool. This is one of the few things I wanted to do when I was out there. And we're at the very tippy top. And you can feel the building sway, and it moves feet. I'm talking feet. Like, it tripped me out how much buildings move, especially when you're at the tippy top. So, yeah, you get a 3.0 earthquake, and you've already got feet of sway. Yeah, that's probably scary as crap. So, yeah, my hat's off to you folks. 3.0, I guess Hasbrook Heights in New Jersey. Depth of 10 kilometers, which is interesting. Could be one of the tunnels. I'd love to have been able to see the seismograph thing on it. I don't think we actually get one. I think I'm stuck into this. Yeah, it doesn't. They don't give us the seismograph thing. They kind of don't anymore, I've noticed. And I think a lot of it is because so many of these potentially could be explosions. They could be. Don't know. If you can look at the seismograph, it's easy to tell. It's easy to tell. Normal earthquakes rattle up, and then there's a ramp up, quick, albeit, but a ramp up. Explosions go instant and then ramp down, and nothing else does that. So it is one of the things that is kind of easy to tell when you can look at it, and they stopped giving us access to that quite a while ago. California's Gifford fire is racing up hillsides towards cameras as the blaze explodes in size. So it was, 5% contained. I believe this was as of last night. It was published today, so probably as of early this morning, 5% contained. Another wildfire. We've got a few of these, I think, pushing around all over the place. Certainly not trying to make my state sound better than anyone else's. We're all going through some craziness. One thing that a lot of people don't realize, too, large fires produce weather, believe it or not. And I don't mean like rain, but I do mean it starts to suck air into it because it's fire. It needs air. It's part of the fire triangle. So it literally starts to pull air towards it and then pushes it up above it because hot air rises. So they create a really weird wind system, which just starts to make things worse, too. And then on top of any other help that might be provided via technology or homeless people lighting fires. So again, always scary when things are dry and dangerous for that matter. Media PSYOP, Operation Mockingbird. They're still saying this is happening. Now, this is really where the deep state uses mainstream media to manipulate us, right? So many people are like, I can't believe mainstream media is not reporting this. Of course they're not. What are you talking about? You seriously don't get it yet. You don't understand that mainstream media literally is an arm of the intelligence deep state aspect that tries to control our thinking, tries to control our doing. And again, as I talk frequently, how manifestation happens, what you think, what you say, and what you do is how you manifest. And if you're constantly focusing those three things on negative things, fear-based things, all that kind of stuff, that is what you're going to manifest. So this is really, in my opinion, one of the biggest difficulties that's going on right now, is people ultimately need to learn they play a part in the reality we're in. And we've got to try to make a difference. But we've obviously got mainstream media / deep state, whatever, trying to force us into these different ways of thinking. Now, most of the people that are awake, they don't fall for it too easily. Maybe every once in a while we'll fall into it and then pop back out, just like, duh, And so Tulsi Gabbard's basically telling us this kind of stuff's still happening. I think literally it's going to take us a number of months to be able to whittle away at all the stuff that's going on, especially considering the political appointments that still aren't in. We'll talk more about that coming up here in a bit. Comer says he will postpone Ghislaine Maxwell's testimony. There was she's got a Supreme Court thing that's coming up in September. Now that date's been set, Comer's like, no, it's cool. We're not going to try to give you any sort of sweet deal. You go ahead and go through and take your chances and see what happens. And so that's what's going to happen. Now, for all the Epstein people, this is another delay. On purpose, deep state working through the Supreme Court, all possible. Maybe, I think, likely more, though, trying to set the timing more appropriately. What other weird stuff is going to be happening in September, October, November? Because many have said that's when a lot of the crazy is supposed to start to really go down, possibly stock market and stuff like that, right? This is the time frame where a lot of people are showing it. We'll see. I'm hoping I feel it more as we get closer, but I don't know. We'll see. A lot of things just happen out of the blue. That's usually the fun of it, especially black swan events. So again, it's one of those things where we all just say, be ready, be prepared, because we don't know. But they are going to postpone. They're not going to give her any sweet deal. So we're not going to hear from her till at least the end of September. And I think it was like the 25th or something like that. Close enough. So you just calm down when it comes to the Epstein stuff. Now, we do see some weird other info coming out. And I don't know who's leaking or where it's coming from, or now all of a sudden this exists. I don't know what it falls into. And I don't frankly care. We're going to talk about it, and I think that's good. I've always assumed he was helped to death. Even if not anything on just hanging off the bedpost and just having someone pushing down on your back, I think might have even created that third break, that third bone that doesn't usually break unless someone strangles you. So there's, I don't know. I still think there's some craziness that happened. I don't think he's necessarily alive. I'm happy to be wrong on that, though. I know there's a lot of people that are very black and white on things. I don't know. I don't know whether he's alive or dead. I'm surprised Ghislaine's still alive. That's all I can say. These people are loose ends for sure, but Ghislaine's tied in, her father and everything else, so who knows? Who knows? And she might have maybe made a deal. That's why she's safe, because, again, they're pretty good about keeping her location secure, even though there's people that claim to know what jail she's at, which is probably the jail she's at. Whether they know what room she's in, we'll probably likely not know. But there is this discussion of an unidentified orange object seen in the surveillance video. Now, we do have at least 1 minute of video missing, and they would know exactly when that 1 minute was. And so it is entirely possible, because there's not actually just 1 minute of video missing. There's actually a minute 4 missing, or minute 3 and change. An extra 3 seconds because the person actually popped in or out sooner than they should have. That's possible, right? When we're talking about milliseconds and seconds, very possible, where you've only got a 1 minute window to get the hell out of that cell, out of the hallway, and you should be fine because the cameras are in the middle of switching. They would have known that all along. They would always know that the last minute of every day is missing. So this is an interesting little piece of information, especially, like I said, knowing, because I want to say it's 58, 56 is the end, 11:58, 56 p.m. is the end of the tape. There's 4 seconds or 3 seconds extra on top of the minute. So again, was somebody coming in and out of the room? How did they open the door? Was that done remotely? Probably. But weren't the guards asleep? Right? I mean, again, there's lots of questions. I've always thought there was something nefarious with this. Whether he's dead or suicided, I feel like he was always helped to his death. Appellate court affirms restrictions on ICE raids in Los Angeles, basically just saying they can't have these full-blown raids in Los Angeles. Here's the thing. This is fine. It's gone to the Ninth Circuit. It's going to go up to the Supreme Court, which is cool. I'm quite sure that the federal government's allowed to do this. We'll get there. In the meantime, though, this slows that down. That's fine. So we can work on all the other cities that we're allowed to do this. And then once those are cleaned up and we can already tout how much better things are, crime rates are going down, things are kind of getting back to normal, right? Then, once the Supreme Court's able to say something, maybe later this year, then we can go ahead and immediately hit these sanctuary cities, and just like that. Now, this is going to be brutal for the sanctuary cities because they're going to lose a lot of their cheap labor overnight. And that's going to be a huge problem for them. They are completely built around cheap labor and cheap boats. And both of those things are drying up. ICE catches illegal immigrant released by Sanctuary County despite multiple child sex charges. 56-year-old illegal immigrant from El Salvador charged with multiple sex crimes against children, but was released by a Sanctuary County in Pennsylvania. ICE has detained him and hopefully sending his happy ass home. Trump achieved record 1,300 deportations per day. A far cry from the numbers they were hitting, but they're, again, ramping up to. So I think 1,000 was the initial numbers. Then they started breaking that. Now I think it's like 2,000, 2,500, something. Obviously a ways to go, but we're hiring back a lot of people. And again, as they're allowed to go into other cities, these things will start to change. And a lot of those ICE people, I think, are going to be used for stuff like that. So 1,300 deportations a day, sweet. It's a step in the right direction. Again, I do feel bad for the people that are going through this on all sides, but coming here illegally and thinking you're going to be, rewarded for that. Yes, the other side lied to you about that reward, but you don't get a reward. That's just not how it works. You don't break the rules. That's just one thing that society needs. Rules, you got to more or less follow them. The people that don't need to be put into a special class. Typically, you're rewarded, promoted, and brought into the deep state. Those days, I think, are changing. We'll see. The entire board of California's Highland Community Charter School has resigned after an audit found they funneled $180 million in taxpayer funds meant to teach adult immigrants English. But the students were fake, the classrooms didn't exist, and the money funded six-figure jobs for friends and luxury travel. Literally had no students. $180 million. I don't even know what sort of time frame that is. That is just, wow. Holy crap, even, one could say. British government revives an old COVID-era spy unit. Going to monitor online critics. You guys don't have any freedom of speech at all. Like, this concept that you do is nonsense. Anti-bullying laws and the fact that you can't even talk about the immigration problem that's hurting your country in any way, shape, or form is, no, you don't have free speech at all in England. So this is a bummer for you guys. Channels like mine probably aren't even barely allowed in your area. Now, again, I'm probably still sort of under the radar, just size purposes, right? But this is what's happening, right? And at some point, you guys are going to start trying to sue people in other countries, which I think is going to be hilarious, but I don't think that's going to work either. We'll see what Keir Starmer does. But yeah, you guys got to do something. I don't know, England. You guys got to figure it out. Secret Service not renewing security clearance for the agency director who quit after the Trump shooting, and they're actually looking at all of the clearances, which I feel like this is kind of a duh sort of thing. I don't know if this person just got in, Director Sean Curran. But he's been modernizing the intelligence apparatus within the agency. During that process, he has determined that not all former directors will have their clearances renewed. There's little reason to maintain clearance once you're done with the job, especially in today's climate. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of weird. Like, why? What? So they can be consultants on TV? That's not a legitimate reason to maintain. Are they still involved in the process somehow? All right, keep clearance if they're still sort of somehow working, consulting or something to that effect. But if they're consulting TV, no, sorry. That information should probably come out from more official sources rather than, the way it's been happening. Needless to say, the chick, Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle, the old director, the one that was there when Trump got shot, that failed at her job, that was a DEI hire. Yeah, she is not going to continue to have clearance. Rasmussen did a poll asking if photo ID is reasonable for voting. Interestingly. Overall, yes, all 73%. Men, 69%. Women, 76%, which is actually kind of interesting to me. I like that, though. 18 to 29, 70%. 30 to 39, 70%. 40 to 49, 80%. 50 to 64, 77%, 65 plus 67%. And by the way, I think it is the older generations where a lot of these are the ones that were raised up from the parents that were in the Great Depression. And it seems like that generation had just the softest ability to raise kids and has created this whole weird generation. And I really do think that's where a lot of the weirdness is. But again, the numbers are still surprising. White 73%, black 70%, still pretty surprising. Hispanic 69%, other, don't even know, 83%. Democrats 64%, which is pretty good. Independents 69%, and GOP 86%. That's incredible. These are people that agree. Yeah, no, voter ID is fine. Overwhelming number of people. It's racist. No, it's not. Most people disagree with that. And there's a solid breakdown explaining that. Now, Attorney General Pam Bondi, she's directing the DOJ officials to scrutinize election procedures across the country. She's emphasizing federal law enforcement as the Trump administration prioritizes secure voting. Civil Rights Division heads this initiative. They're requesting state data on voter rolls to identify non-citizens. Election integrity starts with clean voter rolls. That's the foundation for secure elections, a DOJ source told Fox News. There's been a culture of noncompliance from several states that don't keep their rolls updated. This DOJ is cracking down. So Wisconsin and Utah have publicly shared their DOJ correspondence. New Hampshire's Republican Secretary of State refused a voter database request, citing state laws. It's be interesting to see because federal laws sort of are going to have to supersede that. In California, DOJ letters demanded detailed non-citizen data from local offices. Orange County's resistance sparked a lawsuit, of course, with officials claiming federal law protects voter privacy. And for my California folks, especially the Orange Countyans, this is how they take the conservative areas. This is how they do it. We only have a couple small little cities, well, big city really, if you look at Santa Ana, but not a whole lot in Orange County that is actually liberal. So this is very interesting that that's where the resistance is being led. Now, again, one of the people I think fighting for our elections is, of course, Mr. Mike Lindell. He's doing an awesome job. We'll be talking to him this coming Wednesday. Got some great stuff. We're going to probably get some really cool stuff Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know what. I mean, it'll be one or two things, so don't get too terribly ahead of ourselves. I still say the slipper's the best deal ever. If you haven't already gotten these, you should think about gifts. They're not going to be cheaper than $39.98. At some point, that's going to change. They're an older model. They're beautiful, though. The 7-layer sole, they're stitched in from the side. You got you're putting a cloud inside of it. It's incredible when you put your foot into it. They've got the ones without heels, with heel. Just really awesome, comfortable slipper. Again, for just walking around the house. They're even rugged enough if you want to wear them down to the Starbucks in the morning. They're good for all that stuff. Best pillow you're ever going to use. Also, of course, My Pillow. I love this one, the original one. It is, I think, hands down the best pillow ever made. I love how easy it is to get back to its normal fluff, and it just holds my head through the night exactly how it should. It doesn't move. It's not like fiber fill. It's just such a really good fill that they've got inside that thing. And there's a couple different ways you can get it. It's an awesome, awesome pillow. Way more than worth $18. That's for sure. It literally was the reason I fell in love with this company. Then I tried everything, and oh my gosh, it just gets better. Giza sheets are incredible. I don't know if we're going to get another sweet sale like we had, but they are still incredible sheets. Their towels are the best, bar none. Whether it's the beach towel, whether it's their kitchen towel, whether it's their regular bath towels, they are amazing. You should definitely check them out. Toppers are a great way too to give another life, a little bit more life to a mattress. Maybe $140. That's $150. That's a really, really good deal going on right now. And again, buying some time if necessary. Again, just a lot of great products. They got rugs, they got pillows, they got coffee, they've got his cross, they've got a leather protectant. If you're going to get those slippers and you're going to wear them to Starbucks, you might want to get that stuff. It's $5. It's very good stuff. You got kids and a leather couch. It's also good for that. And again, they got My Store. You're going to use coupon code OTF when you go to My Store as well. But all these things are just incredible products. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. Mypillow.com/OTF. Get the best night of sleep you've ever had. And you will. You'll be like, oh my God, the pillow was amazing. Trump is starting a little bit of a battle with the Senate, but now the Democrats, which is cool. They're closing down. Spoiler alert. We'll get to the stories here. I'm just covering it right now, but he's pissed off at Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer tried to make a sweet little deal that, hey, we'll go ahead and push through these appointees, but what you need to do is you need to give us $1 billion. And he's talking about U.S. aid money that they've cut and one of the other fundings that they cut. And what I find interesting, I think I've got it highlighted, is it shows where their desperation is at first, right? These are the first place they're going to try to whittle out. I mean, they're not going to ask for some BS money, right? That's legit. They're going to ask for money they need. So they've kind of pointed out their weak spot, which I don't know. Some could argue maybe that's what we were trying to figure out. Senator Crying Chuck Schumer is demanding over $1 billion in order to approve a small number of highly qualified nominees who should right now be helping to run our country. This demand is egregious and unprecedented, and it would be embarrassing to the Republican Party if it were accepted. It is political extortion by any other name. Tell Schumer, who is under tremendous political pressure from within his own party, the radical left lunatics, to go to hell. Do not accept the offer. Go home and explain to your constituents what bad people the Democrats are and what a great job the Republicans are doing and have done for our country. Have a great recess and make America great again. So Trump essentially gives them their time off and even follows up today with the truth. Very proud of our great Republican senators for fighting over the weekend and far beyond, if necessary, in order to get my great appointments approved and on their way to helping us make America great again. The radical left Democrat senators are doing everything possible to delay these wonderful and talented people from being approved. If George Washington or Abraham Lincoln were up for approval, the Dems would delay as long as possible, then vote them out. The Democrats want our country to fail because they have failed. Thank you to Senator John Thune and our Republican warriors in the Senate. Fight and win. I am with you all the way. Donald Trump. So I don't know if they're actually staying now. I'm confused. But here's Trump talking about the 150 nominees. I think someone's talking about it. Was this Trump or was this some... Yeah, this is, they talk about it on Fox. I don't think they actually talked to Trump on this particular one. But anyways, check this out.
Place to do the jobs that the American people elected that president, President Trump, to do.
Schumer, meantime, says it's the president who blew up the negotiations.
Trump threw in the towel, sent Republicans home, and was unable to do the basic work of negotiating. Is this the art of the deal? Posture? Cajole? Stamp your feet and then give up? This says it all. Donald Trump tried to bully us, go around us, threaten us, call us names, but he got nothing.
Republicans now say they might consider changing Senate rules to speed up the pace of confirmations when they return from recess. Charlie, Katie, and Griff.
Thanks, Maddie.
Very much.
You know, it's amazing. You know, the Senate is a complicated place. It has a lot of rules in place. But the rules in place are designed to try to make sure you get good nominees in place. It's not designed, it was not intended to be designed to be used just to block your political opponents.
Yeah.
And it's breaking apart. And, you know, I love the Senate, but I'm sort of getting to the point now where I'm like, you know what? Pull out all the stops. Just do what you have to do.
Well, it's the first time in history that not a single nominee that made it out of committee, including those with bipartisan votes, got a unanimous consent vote. I mean, that's crazy.
Well, yeah, so that's the chart that Leader Thune is holding up there. You saw in Maddie's report, and it goes all the way back to George H.W. Bush, and it's pointing out that 0% of civilian nominees received a voice vote. When you see the trajectory on that board, it's literally George H.W. Bush, Clinton, George W. Bush to Obama, all 90% or more on that. And now we've gotten to 0%, which really tells you there is an active, intended obstruction theme here.
150 plus nominees that still have not received a vote. So it's going to be a while.
It's raw partisan politics, and it has nothing to do with actually being part of the checks and balances.
Place to do the jobs.
Whoops, but we got to the end of that. Close enough anyways. But yeah, this is just crazy what's happening, right? But they're talking about getting rid of that rule when the Senate comes back to after appointments. So that should be interesting. Now, some just quick info on Texas, a little bit of craziness going on. Texas is about ready to approve a brand new map that's going to benefit the GOP and, in fact, give them, I guess, an additional 5 seats. Obviously, the Democrats can't have that, won't let that happen. And since they represent just barely over a third, they're going to pull that thing again where they're going to deny them a quorum and they're all going to leave the state. Now, I'm curious if they do anything crazier this time, like literally arrest them or anything fun. I don't know, because there was a question about that happening last time. But they're actually going to keep them from being able to vote this in. Again, this is what the Democrats do. They talk about what Schumer's saying. They stamp their feet. It's either our way or the highway. And in the case of Schumer, you tried to extort $1 billion out of us when the majority of the country's like, no, we've got to cut back more money. So again, this is just, it's funny how it's playing out, frankly. But this, what's going on in Texas, You guys got a big old problem going on there, and they're about to make it worse. Now, Rep. Jasmine Crockett, she's freaking out a little bit because they intentionally screwed with her district where she lives. Says it's going to draw her out of the district. Like, maybe she won't win. Oh, shucks. Oh, we'll miss you so much, Pumpkin. Oh, well. Bless her heart, That's all I can say. Chuck Grassley put this out. Says, are you paying attention to the records I'm exposing? Last week, the Clinton annex, and this week, the Durham annex. Transparency brings accountability. I do like Grassley a lot. I don't know why Trump necessarily attacked him, but I don't have any problem with it in any way, shape, or form. I think it's games. It's 100% games. Like, I can't imagine, unless Trump's really mad at you, and then, oh, well, you're finding out. But I think if it's a game, I'm pretty sure there's a communication in some way, shape, or form that's going to be like, all right, so just ignore what I'm about to say to you publicly. I'm doing this for a reason. Whether he describes it or explains it, it's kind of irrelevant. Who knows? White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt slams the press corps for refusing to cover all the newly declassified information that's now out and about.
Well, I think a major organization of the national security apparatus, at least here at the White House within the National Security Council, has indeed taken place, and the president entrusts his current CIA director, John Ratcliffe, and our ODNI director, Tulsi Gabbard, to make the necessary changes to ensure classified intelligence, especially that could implement or hurt the national security of our country, does not make its way into the hands of irresponsible actors who want to politicize that intelligence for their own end. Since you brought up the declassification report that was put out by Senator Grassley today, I'm glad you brought it up because this should be a story every outlet in this room should be covering. This is further evidence that Hillary Clinton approved the Russia hoax against President Trump. Her campaign financed it. Again, she approved it. And the FBI and the CIA were both weaponized to, as our director of CIA has said, accelerate this hoax against then candidate and former President Trump. To answer the heart of your question, the president wants to see justice served, and he trusts the Attorney General and the Department of Justice to implement that justice and hold these people accountable.
We're going to have such a fun time going through this. And here's Steve Miller. This is reasonably long, but it's extraordinarily good. I'll probably kick it up to, first off, let's get better quality. Yeah. And then let's kick it up to 1.25. Sorry for you guys that are watching me fast already, but it does help on my end a lot. All said, here's Maria Bartiromo talking with our good friend Stephen Miller. And he's not holding back. What's coming out, what's going to continue to get beaten on from our side. This is going to be fun. There's just one of the few moments where we don't necessarily have to find common ground as much as just enjoy the fact that we're sharing facts. You could be pissed about it. I had a discussion with my friend this morning at the coffee shop, or yesterday really, and he was all pissed out off about the chick that got fired. I'll get there. And I'm like, dude, it's like, of course he's going to fire people. If it bugs you, sorry, it is what it is. But yeah, this is going to happen. You're going to be pissed off. And sorry. Like, that's all I said. Like, because it's what's happening. Like, you can be mad about it all you want. It's what's happening, all right? People are overwhelmingly in support of this.
Your reaction to what was released this week?
The Russia collusion hoax against President Trump remains the single greatest hoax and the greatest assault on our democracy in the history of this country. There's no comparison, there's no parallel to anything else. It was a coup. And I'm using that term literally. It was a coup to overthrow a democratically elected government, a coup carried out by the intelligence apparatus of this country, by the deep state, by Hillary Clinton and the Democrat Party. The new information that has been revealed by the Director of National Intelligence and by the FBI eliminates any scintilla of doubt about the intention, the premeditation, the planning and orchestration of this conspiracy. It meets all of the criminal elements of a seditious conspiracy against the United States. It meets the criminal elements of an insurrection. It meets the criminal elements of a conspiracy against the government and the criminal elements of a conspiracy to deprive citizens of their civil rights under color of law. One egregious felony after another. And because it is a conspiracy, as demonstrated by the forethought of realizing and documenting that they understood that this was fake from the beginning, meeting the mens rea standard in law, because of that, because it is a conspiracy, every single individual actor is now part of that conspiracy. So that includes Brennan and Clapper and Comey and Hillary and Schiff and everybody else who knowingly and willfully perpetrated this plot, this coup, this conspiracy, this scheme against President Trump and the government of the United States. And now is the time and the hour and the moment for accountability so that we can reclaim this democracy, Maria.
Well, do you believe we will actually get accountability? We've been demanding accountability now for a decade. Our audience is well aware that this is the biggest political scandal we have ever seen and an effort to undermine and take down a duly elected president. But now we want to see the tricksters face the consequences. Will they?
I have complete confidence in the Department of Justice to follow these facts, to follow this new, further avalanche of evidence, and to take all the necessary legal steps to ensure that the wrongdoers, the coup plotters, the schemers, and the insurrectionists are held fully accountable under the laws and Constitution of these United States. Yes, Maria, I believe that.
Now, last weekend, John Ratcliffe, CIA director who is a former prosecutor, former DNI, told us that that the statute of limitations, the 5-year statute, does not apply when it comes to conspiracy. And he says the conspiracy is ongoing because they still won't admit it. The conspiracy is still happening. So what is your take on what Ratcliffe told us last week?
Oh, he's completely right. So several of the statutes I mentioned, we have not even come close to eclipsing the statute of limitations. But more than that, it is an ongoing and continuing conspiracy. It continued through the entirety of President Trump's first term. It continued through the entirety of President Biden's term in office. And it continues to this day. There are still deep state coup plotters who are trying to conceal and hide this information on behalf of the people they're protecting. There are still staffers in Democrat offices who know the full truth, who are concealing that truth. So all of this behavior, all of this conduct collectively means the conspiracy hasn't ended, is ongoing. Comey in particular has throughout the years engaged in conduct and lies, public statements, and testimony in front of Congress. False testimony, whose sole purpose was to perpetuate and continue the conspiracy. So I have every hope and expectation that the Department of Justice, under the leadership of our courageous Attorney General, will follow these facts and follow the evidence and deliver justice. Because if we have a country where we can continue to have FBI careerists and CIA careerists, deep staters who will fabricate and doctor evidence, who will create and produce fake material, fabricated material, phony information to try to go after their political enemies up to and including the president. If we continue to create the impression and the reality that there is not a severe criminal penalty for such conduct, it will never stop. It will never desist. It will keep on going forever. And we will continue to have a country that is sabotaged endlessly by the production of fake documents, fake material, fake plots against democratically elected officials. We can't have that. There must be consequences.
Well, I mean, it's just extraordinary to me that the mainstream media has completely ignored this story. And they obviously were complicit from day one, being the quote-unquote useful idiots of the cabal to spread this nonsense across the world. But the Russia collusion lie had such an incredible impact. People went to jail. They should not have. People were raided. They raided Mar-a-Lago, President Trump's home, looking for these documents, according to Devin Nunes, who told us
By the way,
that
that's a great point. The Mar-a-Lago raid was a perpetuation and continuation of this same conspiracy. They went in search and in hopes of trying to recover the documents that would implicate their own criminal conduct.
That's right.
The entire raid was a perpetuation of this same criminal scheme, as you mentioned. And so many innocent people suffered irreparable harm. Paul Manafort was left to rot in a prison cell because of this ridiculous investigation, this witch hunt that is carried out. How many homes were raided, how many documents were taken, emails were taken against the innocent, against people whose only crime was working for President Trump. Right. And everything that has happened, including, I would argue, all of the interference in 2024 that took place and in 2020 that took place, all the dirty tricks that kept taking place against President Trump were all part of a desire to keep him from getting back into the Oval Office to uncover and expose and share with the world the full truth of what happened, as we are seeing now, Maria.
They also set up General Mike Flynn. Let's not forget about that. There were so many implications of this lie. But even more so, let's talk about the impact of the American people. Because while Adam Schiff was going on the Sunday political shows, and he was the chairman of the Intelligence Committee for a time, saying there's collusion in plain sight. When you have that kind of a title, you're the chairman of the Intelligence Committee, and you say there's collusion in plain sight, we believe you. You've got the job. You must have seen more than we've seen. So to outwardly lie like that because you have that title. Same thing with former director of CIA, John Brennan. He's got that title. We believe him because he says it. So all of this, when they were running around, Russia, 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 How much did they miss? How much did they leave on the cutting room floor? For example, right now, we are dependent on China for 90% of the underlying components for our prescription drugs. We saw Russia invade Ukraine, more territory. We saw Iran continue to build up nuclear weaponry. All of the things that actually matter to the American people were not the focus for 10 years.
Is incalculable. The cost is incalculable of having the entire security apparatus of this country focusing on the hoax instead of the real national security threats facing America, lie after lie after lie that was told to the American people, preventing us from actually solving our relationship with Russia, preventing us from actually developing security and independence from all of our adversaries around the world, dealing with these big geopolitical questions. Instead, we were consumed endlessly by the same hoax, the same lie. And the charlatans that engage in this conduct are beneath contempt. They are without dignity. And they are beyond redemption. What they have done, you can't even measure the harm that it inflicted.
First off, I love Steve Miller. Steve Miller's like just the craziest dude ever. And I keep thinking to myself, like, I'm like, dude, would I be able to do this job as good or better? And I'm like, nope, this dude rocks. And watching him, I don't know what's up with people. There's like, I've been watching Blacklist. There's like that character, like he likes to move his head a lot. I don't know what it is. It kind of bugs the shit out of me. Steve Miller moves his head in weird ways. So he goes like, good. Like he goes right. And then when he does, he steps it up a notch, right? He's like, yeah, so I was pissed off the other day, and then I got really angry, right? And then I start talking about how I'm really mad and how I want to be all, right? The dude just gets, right? I love it. Love him. And again, the Russiagate thing, the facts that are coming out, the fact that people are going to be like, what? I didn't know this? Yeah. And again, I told you so should never, ever, ever come out of your lips. Ever. But facts are just as good if you learn to really taste and delicious. You know what I mean? It's like if it's like eating broccoli for you, then put some cheese on it. I don't know. You know? Come on. Powdered sugar, not a turd? Anybody? Here? No? FBI Director Kash Patel on Saturday floated the possibility of the FBI directly releasing more Russia collusion probe documents. Hence the thumbnail. Quote, in 2017-18, I proved the Steele dossier was fictitious intelligence weaponized by corrupt FBI officials to deceive a federal judge and unlawfully spy on then presidential candidate Trump's campaign, all paid for by his opponent. The media called me a liar. Now I'm the FBI director. We just uncovered burn bags, room filled with hidden Russiagate files, including the Durham Annex, and declassified them, Patel wrote on X. Once again, I released the prior FBI's own documents and exposed the truth. The same media is calling me a liar again. Maybe this FBI will release more docs directly from FBI HQ so we can see who is lying. Wouldn't want to deprive the fake news of more bogus Pulitzers, he added. Sounds like he took some jabs, and rightly so. Very cool. Very cool. So, yeah. He is, again, Patel is someone I love. Pam Bondi, I love what she's doing. Dan Bongino, I love, right? Like, who else? Ratcliffe, I love, again, we don't have to get into my love fest here, but, right? Like, there's just some Miller. We got some great people out there. Trump ousts Biden appointed labor chief staff. This is the one that pissed off my friend. It's just like, he's like, you know, the lady that does the thing. This is literally, and I love this guy. Everything's the thing. It's just, he's from Boston. So nothing has an actual word. They just call everything a thing, right? You go to the thing, you get the thing while you're in the thing. Yeah. And then bring it back so I can do my thing with it. Right. And literally, to him, that would make sense. And he would smile because that's like, that's a fair sentence in Bostonian, right? Yeah. Go get the thing with the thing. It's all in there. It's next to the thing on the door. Yeah, no, but not that thing. The thing. And that matters. That means something. All the people on the East Coast are like, no, I understood what he was saying. Yeah, I'll grab it. I'll get it for you. You mean next to where the keys are, or the one with the pink thing? Yeah, got you. Totally. I don't know why it's pink. Not all stories make sense. That's for sure. This one does, though. So the jobs numbers came out, and they had to adjust them a bunch. And Trump's like, now all the fucking sudden the jobs numbers are legit. This lady was Biden's job adjuster. And up until the election, those numbers got adjusted nicely. And then as we've been able to blame them, this is what Trump's pissed off about. I think I've got his truth regarding this. But as she finally put this out, of course, it's going to make Trump look bad. It's playing into his poll. There's some people that say that there's some polls that are stating poorly for Trump. I don't know. I doubt it. If they are, I don't care. It doesn't matter. I think ultimately we're going to end up where we need to. People that are followers, and there's many followers within all of our groups, okay? All of our little, well, first off, if you're being any sort of significant ripple maker / what I like to call porch light, because I just think it's the analogy for a porch light and a moth, like if you're the only porch light in like miles, right? Think of all the moths that are going to come to your light. Those are the followers. Your ripples are going to create followers. No offense to the followers that are out there, because there's a lot of you guys that are ripple makers too, teacher of teachers, right? So just because you're a follower doesn't mean, right? Like, it's not a bad thing. I follow people too, okay? But followers that are mindless, many you shall have. So please, be cautious with them, be loving with them, and understand there's some of them. You may hear from them, you may not hear from them. Odds are you will. It's usually how it works. But again, a lot is happening, and we fired her. That chick got fired. He was all pissed off. I didn't know her name, didn't know the job she did. I'm like, what did she do? You don't even know her name. You don't even know the job she does, and you're pissed off about it. I'm like, what is up? You the lady that does the thing next to the thing with the thing. No, fuck, I don't. So it was a fun conversation. He's from Boston. In my opinion, this is Trump saying this is truth. In my opinion, today's job numbers were rigged in order to make the Republicans and me, I don't know, I guess he screamed the name. I don't know. He's worried about how he's looking bad. Just like when they had 3 great days around 2024 presidential election, and then those numbers were taken away on November 15th, 2024, right after the election, when the jobs numbers were massively revised downward, making a correction of over 818,000 jobs. A total scam. Jerome Too Late Powell is no better, but the good news is our country is doing great. Great. Should be like Tony the Tiger. Great. That'd be a good one. You guys want to have fun? You don't have to send them to me. Please don't. But, if you want to see what Tony the Tiger with Trump's face on, might be kind of funny. Grok could have fun with that one. Almost tempted, but I'm not. So the jobs numbers have been messed with always. Then they get revised down. It happened all during President Biden's presidency. This is just game. They control a lot of the metrics. The mainstream media still pushes this. This is the stuff that most followers, people are following. So it is what it is, folks. I think most of us get it. Most of us are like, yeah, but we're doing better. See, that's where I come at it from, right? Yeah, there's darkness everywhere, but you see how far my light's shining now? I swear to God, it rings out even further than it was yesterday. That's how. That's how, baby. We're going to get them all. We're going to get them all with love and light, baby. America faces a supply chain crisis for basic drugs. Trump wants to fix it. We obviously can't manufacture the stuff that, we could die if we don't take. Or it could have God knows what in it, fentanyl or worse. So, yeah, we literally have put ourselves into a funny position. Having the relationship with China that we do right now that is not good. It's a little dodgy, as the Brits would say, a little dodgy. It is definitely dodgy. It is all sorts of confusion. And we don't want them attacking us with any sort of biological agents within our pharmaceutical drugs. They could, easily. It would be, technically chemical warfare or biological warfare. It would be, crimes punishable. But it's deep state, guys. They don't care. They're not gonna live through this, probably. So, yeah, we'll see. About 154,000 workers accepted Trump administration buyouts, by the way. So this is part of the unemployment number. And if any of you just kind of keep that in mind, that and there's been a number of federal people, but yeah, there's unemployed people. A lot of them are government workers, which is kind of a good thing. We're paying them government money that we were going to pay them anyway, but it's less than what we were paying them. So hopefully they get a regular job that's not in the government and they'll help the government. Right? And they got tax money that's actually not paid for by taxes. Senate confirms Jeanine Pirro to serve the U.S. Attorney for D.C. She actually got confirmed, 50 to 45. Of course 3. It had to what? McConnell. Who were the 3 fuck faces? Of course, obviously, Alaska and Maine, Collins and Murkowski, whatever. Was I wonder if our boy McConnell was the third one, because he's always a douche up there in the Senate. Who else would have douched that hard? McConnell surely would. He hates Pirro because she'd do a good job. Come on, give it to me, guys. As I stall, it's not happening. It's not happening, folks. I'm gonna have to give up. Yeah, I don't see it. Whatever the case is. Yeah, whatever. She got in. That's what matters. Maybe someone didn't vote. It's possible. Senate passes first funding package ahead of shutdown. This is fun. The first three spending bills Friday, taking swift action after leaders struck a bipartisan agreement to package the bills together. The chamber voted 87-9. It's just like, wow. To pass a two-bill package to fund the Departments of Veterans Affairs and Agriculture, along with military construction and the Food and Drug Administration. It's probably why they had to put some of those things together. They're like, all right, we're not going to say no. Go ahead. You can have your military construction, right? That probably bummed them out. But another separate 81-15 vote. Oh, my. Much more crazy, right? 9 voted no. This time 15. Holy shizzle. But this was the third bill to fund Congress itself, at least 15 people. I wonder where Massey fell on that one. He's probably in the 81, right? Probably. No, I'm sorry. This is Senate. Massey was just sitting on his thumb. That's probably what he was doing. Whatever. Senate heads home. No deal. No nothing. You guys heard the story. Heard the skinny. John Thune's, I thought, doing a good job. I don't know. There's people that really hate Thune and really hate Johnson. I get it. I don't necessarily vouch for them as human beings. What I'm saying is, as a means of what we have currently available to us, these are the people that actually I think are somewhat on our side and understand the machine that is Congress. Most of us that claim to understand it because we just hate somebody. It's like, well, that dude's able to get a lot of people's opinions together so we can get a vote. And that's ultimately what the head or the House, the leader, that's what they do. They run around and basically, I want it to be gross, they do friends. They scratch a bunch of people's backs in order to get their one scratch. They scratch a bunch of backs. If you guys know how crude and crass I am, you could, of course, figure out what I figured there would be a more fun thing to say. Bill Maher talking about how academia is really messed up and has been. Again, I'm not going to... He's doing a better job right now, in my opinion. I think they're talking about Jon Stewart for president. I'm just like, oh, it's hurting me, John. Why are you doing this? At least Bill has come to his senses. John, come on, have dinner with the president. Let Trump talk to you. Let's get you on the same page. All said, every once in a while, Bill's got some good stuff, and he's calling out the truth. And I try to do this too. I think our side does some stupid stuff for sure. I might not agree with all of his degrees of belief that we're being stupid, right? I think some of the stuff's like, I think that's what we should be doing right now. We'll disagree. But he calls out his side for being stupid, which nobody does. So happily, but he is doing it. And what the name of his production company is disgusting. He wears the red shoes and stuff. There's the picture at least. So whether these things are his fault or not, which I think they are, whatever. That said, I think some people have had a chance to make amends and move forward. I think we're seeing who some of these people are. He might be one of them. We'll see. All said, here's Bill Maher, I think, saying something way more better than me.
I'm not totally against it.
Yeah.
Academia needed a hot poker up the ass. Yep. I'm not saying not everything the way he's doing it, of course, is the right way. To defund scientific research is not the way to do it. But I mean, our universities have been out of control for a long time. They became indoctrination factories. They forgot there's absolutely no diversity of thought.
Well, and they're continuing to racially discriminate against the law.
And
the Supreme Court ruled 2 years ago.
I mean, there's a lot of inefficiencies. The overhead in higher education, why it's so much more expensive than when I went. The overhead is very high. But I also want to be really clear that Donald Trump is not interested in making them more efficient or getting rid of overhead or dealing with affordability. This is his woke culture war. This is his culture war against things that he doesn't believe in and want to see, and it's actually extending to our service academies.
Well,
West
you don't
Point,
have to
Air
be
Force
Donald
Academy.
Trump to think that there's been something rotten on campuses for quite a long time. When you cannot speak the other side of the coin, when conservative thought, whatever you think of it, is just verboten, which is basically what happened on the and some of the ideas. I mean, why do you think they erupted, so many of them, in cheers for what happened on October 7th? Why do you have professors coming out there and saying they were exhilarated by this mass massacre of people? Okay, that didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
Something, the ivory towers. And also, they're just very anti-America.
Yeah.
Now, Trump is too pro-America.
And again, is he all? Do I agree with everything? No. But there is so much common ground in what he's saying. And this is to a liberal audience, or at least an audience that's starting to drift towards the center, which is ultimately where we need everyone to be, because there's this ridiculous extremes. Like, both sides extremes are absurd to me. And God, there's some crazy ones on our side of the fence. I was just listening to one the other day. I got about halfway through and I'm like, I can't take any more of this. This is killing me. Life is not long enough. Jack Smith is under investigation over Hatch Act violations. Don't get too excited too quickly, but it is cool that this is starting to happen. So Senator Tom Cotton is saying, I appreciate the Office of Special Counsel taking this seriously and launching an investigation of Jack Smith's conduct. No one is above the law. We're going to be loving that one. I hope a new Dukes of Hazzard comes out and that somehow is incorporated into it when they're driving their, if it's actually the General Lee with that flag on it. Oh man, that might be bad. That will piss off some people pretty poorly. Judge Bars, I'm sorry. This is a judge we like, though. This is Cannon, the only one that was actually good in Florida. The dude that was probably going to shoot Trump, most likely going to shoot Trump, seemed like it in every way, shape, and form, was going to shoot Trump hiding in the bushes with a weapon at a hole where Trump was going to be, looked pretty suspicious. Needless to say, apparently he wanted to get his hands on specific documents that are top secret. Typically, judges are trusted, but certainly not the actual individual. Some of you guys could probably have fun debating the legalities of that. All said, she said, no, you can't see top secret stuff. Get the F out of here. No. In late June, Ruth wrote that Judge Cannon is exceptionally long, one-paragraph typewritten letter. He asked why the death penalty wasn't included in his case, which is interesting, and suggested he be included in a prisoner swap with U.S. adversaries. So this dude's kind of almost sort of claiming to be paid for by another country and trying to get the hell out of here because he was just doing what he was paid to do, and nobody's backing him up. Like, they're not busting him out of jail or whatever. This feels a little weird. He's making some strange deals. He's gets rid of his lawyers because they're probably not willing to go down this path. He's like, dude, let's do a swap. And they're like, no. Like, we'd blow up the plane you were on before we'd let it land anywhere. We'd shoot it down right after it takes off. Whether it's made by Boeing or not, it won't matter. We'll shoot it in the engine, then you won't know. RFK Jr. bans the compound called, I want to make sure I say it because of, some of the places where I'm at. As long as you don't make claims, it's all good. But the thimerosal, there it is, yeah. Kind of coming in my brain. Thimerosal, it's a compound whose main ingredient is ethyl mercury. It has been used for decades as a preservative in one of the vaccines, which one I'm drawing a blank on. He has finally made it illegal in this country. Now, just to say, one of the things that's been unfortunate is people have talked about how there's mercury in these shots for a long time. And they're like, no, there's not. There's not. It's not. There's not. There's not. But thimerosal's been in there for a long time. And it's just recently been removed. It's not like it wasn't there. We just are finally allowed to acknowledge what it actually is, which is a compound where the main ingredient is actually a mercury-based ingredient. Many could say, well, yeah, but there's just a little bit of mercury. They wouldn't let you put it in your hand. If a thermometer broke and you can put it in your hand, swirled around, it's really actually kind of cool. But it's not good because it can absorb through your skin. Teeny tiniest amounts. Yet this is fine. Now, granted, radiation's not good for you, and we get how many x-rays and stuff, right? I mean, so That's not good for you, for sure. Radiation's not good for you. So yeah, I don't know. Again, one thing that I think is a better way to kind of come at these problems is being healthy. Thinking healthy. What do healthy people do? Well, they go to the gym, they eat healthier food, they take products that actually help them maintain health, that help them feel better, right? That give them proper ingredients to get through the day. Healthy Homes basically covering a bunch of those for me. I mean, there's a few products you guys know. I mean, the root brands I love. I mean, we've got TWC, the wellness company, that I love them too, right? Like, again, I've got, this isn't my only group of products that I think are life-changing, but they are life-changing indeed. If you go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com, it's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com, you can see it's not a big list of products. They do what they do it well. Stem active stem cells in your body, right? A lot of people talk about getting stem cells injected or whatever. Those are from fetuses typically. This isn't that at all. This doesn't put stem cells in your body. This causes your body to create more stem cells. Stem cells are like androgynous cells. They can help you heal, and boom, they can become some other part of the body. You got tore up muscle because you've been working out too hard. Stem active is going to help you through that. So if you're someone that's working out, this is something you want because it's going to help your body repair itself quicker. It's going to help you in the big picture, especially if you're taking a lot of the protein powders and all those other good stuff. With this, you're going to find insanity just so much better, right? Like, and for people that are aging, well, this is going to help you in just your healing process. I mean, you think of the places you have inflammation. Well, that's your body trying to fight off something, right? This helps. This helps you fight off more per day than you were before. You know, you might actually be able to finally make progress forward and win the fight. And then, you know, hopefully clean it up and not have the problems anymore. So there's a gel, there's powder pills, right? The little gel caps. Either way, whatever the best way is you like it, kicks in very quickly. You will know, and it's awesome. It's incredible. Balance is something that's helping ladies with the change. And I tell you what, a lot of people are telling me how great it is. They're feeling better. They're sleeping better. There's no fake hormones, no hormones in there at all. It's plant-based stuff that's helping your body, deal with this weird change it's going through. And frankly, through that process of helping you deal with it, it's actually helping others around you as yourself as well. You're sleeping better. You're not maybe as grumpy. Your relationships are feeling better. You've got a little more empathy to talk to your neighbor who you don't necessarily like, but, you know, has moments, or you're like their dog. Either case, balance is putting balance back in people's lives. It's a lotion, transdermal. You put it on your wrist, you rub them. This thing's lasting a couple months-ish or longer. There's people talking over 3 months. Depends how much you use. It's up to you. You put how much on. It's not like everything else where it's like, you know, 60 pills, take 2 a day, or there's 30 packets, take 1 a day, right? Like, this is like, hey, here's some stuff in a tube. Use it as you need. See how you feel about it. So a lot of people are talking. Amaze is another one that's the opposite. And there's 15 packs in a box. And if you want to make it through a month, you're going to need 2 boxes. This is amazing, though. Girlfriend came back. The thing on her face was cleared. She looked literally 7 years younger. She's been double dosing on this. She loves it. This is for sure. I talked to her yesterday. She's like, oh, no. I still take it every day twice. Like, she loves this stuff right now. That said, this is collagen. It's a peptide. If you got sagging skin, sore muscles, joint discomfort, any of that kind of niceness, lifeless hair, fingernails, any of that stuff, this is your friend. This is going to help you in so many different beautiful, wonderful ways, and it way will help your skin, especially if you go crazy like her. She's doubling up. Like I said, she's doing 4 boxes a month. She's addicted. Yeah, we figured we do it in a spoon with a little baking soda and just a lighter, you know, and then just kidding. That's not quite how it works. Amaze is delicious too, by the way. Lemon berry is very, very good. It is a peptide. It's collagen. It's liquid. It goes into your system very, very immediately. Like, it's ultra absorbed. Incredible. Prime is another one. It gives you instant energy. It makes your blood vessels expand. It kicks in extraordinarily fast. 30 things of little packets of powder. Delicious. And it works in like minutes, couple minutes. I don't know. It's very quick. And you'll just feel it, and it just kicks in. And just more energy, more nitric oxide booster, more stuff is moving through your veins. It's just helping you out. And Stem Active for pets. You got a pet that needs healing, needs help, needs love. It's about half the price of what you pay for adults. It's a chewable tablet, and it helps your pet's stem cell count go up. That's all easy place to find it, danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. And you're going to be stoked. You're going to love the fact that you're finally making healthy choices because you're going to feel the difference. That's what's beautiful about this product. Like, the people I talk to, they're like, dude, I'm totally experiencing this. Like, what you're saying is true. And I'm like, I know. Well, what I'm telling you is what I'm experiencing. So we're working together on this, I swear. Got some interesting information. Federal Reserve Kugler has resigned. Federal Board, Reserve Board, Governor. Oh, Governor even. The Governor of the Federal Reserve, Adriana Kugler, is resigning next week, they said. So this is going to give President Trump an early opportunity to appoint a favored candidate for potential leadership. This is Trump basically putting in the person that's going to replace Powell. This is going to piss off the deep state. Now, who this individual is, I can't wait to see. I'm not sure what Trump's doing. I don't know what he's zigging and zagging. He's got head fakes going on. I don't know what he's doing. But I know the Fed's supposed to come under control. And maybe that's, I don't know. I don't know how this, either we get rid of the deal. I don't know if we just gobble them up and, and then they disappear. Like, I don't know. I'm sure there's a good way this can play out and then, the not so good way. President Trump doesn't need to fire Powell, many are saying, and I agree 100%.
Is he can actually appoint a Fed chair a lot sooner than everyone expects. Now, markets, as an investor, they are an expectations game. And so when you get a Fed chair, even if they don't take office until May of next year, if you appoint a Fed chair in the early fall, the market will listen to them as opposed to Jerome Powell. This is the same Jerome Powell, Laura, that cut rates by 50 points right before the election in a desperate attempt to Kamala Harris to help her. Of course, it didn't work. President Trump won in a historic landslide, but now he refuses to raise rates even though inflation is lower today than it was then. And so the president is using his First Amendment rights. He's calling out the Fed chair for being intransigent, for being too late. But my recommendation to the president would be appoint a Fed chair far earlier than anyone expects, so too late's voice can be totally nullified.
Yeah, again, we don't have to fire him. Everything seems to be playing out really well. One of the biggest revisions in payroll we've seen, this chick that got fired, so the numbers were bad. This is this red side over here. I don't know if we can make this giant, how easy this will be this way. But yeah, like this part over here, this giant red graph right here next to me. Holy crap, right? Way bigger. And then 2019, when Trump was in office, oddly, right? So this was all jobs, and then jobs didn't go down that much during COVID. Well, they went up, in fact, during the year, right? It wasn't 22 or is it 21? I forget now. It's shit. Everything is going so damn fast, in my opinion, but it's fun as hell. Oh, my girl, Tiffany, what do you got? Washington moves to seal trade loopholes exploited by China with a new 40% tariff. Yeah, let's play this. What the hell? I always got time for Tiffany.
Move to restrict rare earth exports to the U.S. is adding a sense of urgency in Washington. The Trump administration wants to reduce supply chain risks tied to authoritarian regimes. Now, the White House is rolling out a new tariff policy set to take effect next week. It imposes duties of up to 40% on goods that bypass existing tariffs through transshipment. The goal is to focus precisely on the true country of origin. While China remains the clear target, the new rule stops short of naming specific nations. After President Trump imposed what are now called reciprocal tariffs on China during his first term, Beijing and Chinese manufacturers quickly built overseas warehouses. Those manufacturers then routed goods through other countries to avoid U.S. tariffs. But that loophole is about to close. On Thursday, the White House announced a new rule targeting transshipments. Within 7 days, U.S. Customs will start imposing an extra 40% tariff on goods that dodge current duties by passing through other countries. This time, the rules are stricter. If a product doesn't undergo substantial transformation in the transit country, it will be considered transshipped and face penalties. Substantial transformation means a product must be significantly changed in another country to count as made there. If it's only minor work, then the product is still seen as coming from the original country and tariffs apply. This rule is based on provisions already included in the U.S.-Vietnam trade agreement. And there's more. The New York Times reports that Washington will soon roll out new rules to better track where products actually come from. Similar to the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, these rules will require, for example, at least 75% of a car or auto parts components come from North America. This is needed to qualify for duty-free border crossing.
And if I didn't offend you before I came into this video, it seems this is only affecting trans products. So, yeah, just saying that should be the next headline. Trump shuts down trans products with... Yeah, it's coming. Trans products are shut down. I'm just saying. That was probably not as bad as what I said going in. Maybe. Who knows? Stock market futures anyway. What is today? The hell is today? Today's Sunday, right? Yeah, shoot. Forgot for a second. So yeah, futures are definitely going down. Whether that rebounds during the day, don't know. Gold and silver certainly looking up at the moment. Oh, 37, creeping back up to those wonderful 38s we had that, bumped a bunch, actually. Yeah, the dollar took a crapper, is what this basically is telling us. Did gold jump the same? Yeah, see? Yeah, guys, I don't know if you can see this on the screen. So here's gold, right? You see that little jump, right? Then go back to silver. Ooh, let's go to futures. Go to silver. It does the same thing. See the bump, right? Bad news came in. We're always going to be on the wrong side of that equation, by the way. So something... it's probably going to come out tomorrow. That's going to suck balls. And that's going to be why the dollar, is going to improve. Or it could have to do with Russia and China are playing with each other in the ocean, right? They're touching each other's things. And then, what'd you think? We'll see. We'll get there. EU courts have ruled that Ireland does have an obligation to provide housing to asylum seekers. So Ireland's courts are like, no, you don't. EU's like, oh, yeah, you do. And so Ireland's going to be like, we don't have sovereignty. And EU's going to be like, yeah, you guys signed this agreement. Hello, here it is, right here, page 462,571. Clause triple Z _ bang K. It's going to be some ridiculous bylaw of a bylaw that's now a tri-law. Meloni's Italy is blasting the top EU court's migration rulings as an attack on national sovereignty. Yeah, y'all aren't sovereign. You're part of the EU. You guys didn't do it like the United States. Like, states have a level of rights. The government, federal government, has a level of rights. But you guys don't. Europe Union has rights. You guys don't have rights. England was smart to get out because they already censored their own people anyways. So it doesn't matter. Europe's fucked. Y'all got to figure your shit out, man. Or at least give us time to fix our stuff and then y'all can do what you do. Whatever. China's pro-Russia remark. I guess they were having some issues. I guess she upset Putin in some way. I don't know. Didn't respond with the proper emoticon. You ever done that? Use the wrong one and they get butthurt? No, you probably don't know crazy people like me. It happens though. But yeah, they're friends now, and like I said, they're playing in the ocean together, touching each other's stuff, and that's all fun. That's all fun and games. But they are. This, of course, is bothering the United States. A lot of this is play for that standpoint. One of the biggest purchasers of oil of Russia, by the way, especially post-sanctions, is China. China doesn't give a shit what we do. And this is kind of the fun right now. Like, there's a fun little flex going on, like who's who. And I'm just glad we got Trump at the helm. That's all I can say. People can say what they're going to say. They can think what they're going to think. They can bet on what they're going to bet. But ultimately, these games are playing out in a fun way. So, yeah, they're playing. They're like buddies. I don't know if there's a picture of them hugging yet, but probably. Somewhere. China and Russia, which would be weird because Asian people aren't real touchy-feely typically. Am I wrong on that, guys? Maybe I am. Typically not touchy-feely. China, Russia begin joint military drills in the Sea of Japan. So, yeah, touching each other's stuff. What'd you guys think? Well, I said it, so of course I would assume you thought dirty, I hope. For those that did, I'm proud of you. Ukrainian long-range drone hit multiple Russian refineries, factories overnight. So Ukraine hit back. This is supposed to make Russia be like, I shouldn't have hit you 5 days in a row without any sort of repercussions. Dang. So, yeah, they took something back, which, who's helping? Probably England via the help of us and Five Eyes. I'm sort of wondering, that's got to be on the table with Russia. They've sort of made a comment about it. I feel like I brought it up, I don't know, Friday or whatever, maybe Thursday. But they are using our technology to further their abilities than they normally could without us. And Russia knows that, and they're essentially calling it out. So there's a lot of games that we don't talk about when it comes to the war in Ukraine. And so, again, a lot of things that we must work through to get this peace. Because this war represents everybody becomes friends again with Russia, right? Like, this is Yeah, no, they're not going to invade Europe next. Like, we can't just keep attacking them anymore. Kind of like Israel wants to keep attacking Iran. They're like, they don't know what to do with themselves right now. They're like, we've got extra bombs. Like, what are we supposed to do with them? Just hang on to them for a little bit and see what happens. Maybe you don't need them. Huh? But, like, everything's they're a hammer and everything's a nail. So we're back and forth. Yeah, you can kill each other. Zelensky signs a law saying, hey, if you're over 60, you can join the military. We'll kill you too. Yeah, we'll kill off an entire country. And again, is this like, you got to almost wonder, is it the good people that they're actually, or is it like the Khazarians they're pushing out into the front lines? That's what I would kind of wonder, right? Is this kind of the thinning of the herd? Maybe this is a good thing. I don't know. Yeah, okay. Yeah, if you get 60-year-old Khazarians that suck and they're evil, give them a gun that doesn't work. Go run out there. Take that hill. No, the little sand one next to it. Yeah, that one. Where all the dead people are. Yeah, that one. Trump issues further explanation on moving 2 nuclear submarines close to Russia. This is just his public bullshit. This is, again, it's not, something's up. This is keeping everything in check. It's letting Trump look tough. This is, and then, like, Russia responds in a funny way. I think, I don't know if this one, Trump told Finnerty, his eyes lit up when the nuclear weapons are mentioned. Yeah, they referenced, I did finally see it in here. They referenced a movie, I guess that was like a nuclear thing. And so Trump's like, whoa, you're gonna talk nuclear? You're gonna do that? It's like one of those things where, like, oh, you want to punch and stuff. All right, I'll loose my tie. Or take it off, probably is smarter, actually. So this is weird. Everyone wants to have that Cuban Missile Crisis moment. Maybe it's happening. It feels almost feels forced to me a little bit. Like, I don't know about you guys. I don't know. Like, we're sitting on the outside. I don't think there's, but it almost feels forced to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too, whatever. Unthinkable catastrophe is developing in Gaza. They're going to keep playing this starvation thing. There's been discussions about starvation problems. The UN is where the problem is happening, and the reason likely is they keep trying to move stuff in, and there's restrictions on what and how they can get UN supplies in. And I think they want to kind of move stuff in like, oh, you checked the first truck, though, but no, you don't need to check the next trucks. And they're like, no, we're checking every truck. What are you talking about? But people are starving. Meh. We're checking every single truck. And I'm guaranteeing you they're finding stuff that's not food, like weapons and stuff. So we've got through the UN channel, they're trying to feed more stuff into Gaza, whether it's deep state. Let's just make it easy. Save ourselves the pain. And Israel and the US are feeding food through their avenues. Without issue, by the way. Something to keep in mind. So they keep playing up the UN. Like, just pay attention when they talk about starvation. It's like supplies aren't getting in. Is it the UN supplies? Because that's United Nations. We're involved directly with Israel with U.S. supplies, and we're giving food aid. We are. I don't know what Europe's doing. That's not my problem. Right? Russia's first patients could begin receiving newly developed cancer vaccine. Just wonder how many people actually be like, oh, a vaccine for cancer? I can't imagine. It's an mRNA, I think, type thing. Whatever, it's coming out. They've been talking about it over here, too. Some sort of, they get your specific thing, and then they give you the injection, and your cancer goes away, huh? Yeah, I don't trust that for a second. Like I said, I'm still, it's almost completely gone. Not my pills. I still got a bunch. 90 of them. Yeah, well, not anymore, but the thing on my chest, almost completely gone. I looked at it this morning, I was like, every day it's just like, it's going away. It's going away. I don't know what it was. I don't care. It's not there anymore. I'm not trying to sell that right now. twc.health/OTF, I guess. twc.health/OTF. Since I did an accidental. I just don't trust this stuff at all. I don't trust. Our medicine is not designed to heal you. Our medicine is not meant to make you better. Our medicine is meant to keep you on meds and continue in your prescribed path. And if the pills I gave you give you heartburn, well, then I'll give you another pill for the heartburn. even though the heartburn implicates there's damage being done to your throat. What other kinds of cancers might happen now, or parasitic problems, or what? Right? Like, it just kills me. So yeah, mRNA technology. People are going to trust it. I think we're definitely on a diverging path. So I think there's a lot of people that are going to be on one kind of path, and there's going to be a bunch of people that are on another. I do think there's going to be an event at some point that's going to kind of separate the two. And yeah, I don't know. I've seen kind of I had a really weird dream that I think was telling me something too. There's organizations being created as we speak. So we things are happening behind the scenes that I don't know if people realize. And I don't have any direct. It's weird how it's happening. That's all I can say. I think, like I've said, there's a lot that many of us don't know what other people are doing, but there's this correlated effort. There's this effort together towards the same cause by many, many different people, and we're all manifesting it in different ways. So it's pretty cool. That's all I can say. We're actually doing very well. Trump says he hasn't been asked to pardon Maxwell or Santos, and says he likely won't pardon Diddy. Like, that's just absurd, pardoning Diddy. He'd probably, like he says, I'll need to look at it, but likely won't. Like, no. He knows that's too hot a topic, but they were saying he was going to. That was a story floating around. Again, these stories crack me up now. I hope you guys too. Jury orders Tesla to pay $329 million, ouch, after a fatal autopilot error. A lot of money there. $329 million to the victims of the deadly crash, which is horrible. Don't get me wrong. I think trusting something to drive for you is still a little early in the game. He's come a long way. It's still, you see I think he has the black eye there, by the way. We've come a long way. But yeah, we've just seen the Jaguar crash the other day, and then now we've got this one too. So a lot of strange stuff going on. This is just a quick little, someone snubbing Elon, and I wasn't going to not share it. He is on the spectrum. Elon Musk is an extremely intelligent individual that has a very, very hard time with close relationships, period. End of story, right? I'm not going to try to be mean to the guy, but there's a lot of examples. I'll scroll through just a little of it, but he's obviously Trump, obviously some of the Bissett. Like, he can't go too long with it. Larry Page was someone, Google co-founder. He was tight with him for a while, and then they had a hardcore falling out, which oftentimes was very public, right? Zach Hoyt, Asmongold, I don't know whoever that is. He used to be tight with him. Justine Wilson was his, what did she say, starter wife. That's what she called herself. They were actually married for 6 years, which is impressive, but he was probably gone all the time. And she had a bunch of kids with him. Vivian Jenna Wilson, which is, I guess, a trans individual or something. I don't know. Philip Lowe, Martin Eberhard? Okay. Sam Harris, Grimes, I don't even know, Sam Altman, right? Like Jack Dorsey, Peter Thiel, Vernon Unsworth. I mean, there's just a few. So he's been tight with all these people and then had ferocious falling outs. This is just kind of par for the course. McCloskey's win back their AR-15 rifle. You guys remember them, right? You remember the infamous picture? Oh. She's pretty tough, though. I like her tough face. Her tough face is pretty solid. His is actually pretty good, too, in hindsight. But, yeah, poor guy. That had to have been a scary damn moment. Scary moment. He's like, I'm literally maybe going to have to kill somebody, and I don't want to. But, yeah. And hers supposedly didn't even work, but whatever. It's definitely imposing. Yeah, so they got it back finally. Took many, many years. Lots of time. 3 lawsuits, 2 trips to the court, 1,847 days. Who's counting, right? Who's counting? U.S. Vice President's obsessed with UFOs, apparently, so that's cool. J.D. Vance is into the UFO thing, and he's I guess he even said, like, I'm obsessed with the whole UFO thing. What's actually going on? What were those videos all about? What's actually happening? It's pretty cool. So who knows what we'll actually find out, ever. I look forward to it, but yeah, we'll take it day at a time. I think it's all about moving the needle forward, which sometimes it's a big, big needle, a big, heavy ship of a needle, right? Like, tough sometimes, but we're making it move. It is moving. We're doing it together. Your guys' ripples are making all the difference. And exactly where we go one, we certainly go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.